This is a big India Today investigation. It's taken 1 month for us to bring it together for you. Is the water that you're drinking safe? Is the water that comes from the tap in your house safe? There's a huge political debate that rages in the national capital with elections just days away. Get set for Operation Pani.
The world's second most populous city fights for clean and safe water. Centre claims Delhi water is toxic.
दिल्ली का कौन आदमी नहीं जानता है कि दिल्ली का पानी पीने लायक नहीं है? कौन आदमी दिल्ली का पानी पी रहा है? जो पी रहा है लाचारी में पी रहा है।
Aam Aadmi Party government insists it is not.
जिन जगहों के सैंपल उन्होंने बताए कि वहां का पानी गंदा आता है, वहां के लोग खुद से कह रहे हैं ऑन कैमरा आके कि हमारे यहाँ पानी साफ आता है।
What is the truth? Is Delhi water safe? Operation Pani.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal grandly claimed at a town hall in the national capital that you can put a glass under a tap anywhere in Delhi and you can just drink the water that comes from that tap. Is this really true? What India Today did was that we worked with one of the country's leading laboratories. We identified 9 areas, the 7 Lok Sabha constituencies. We picked one spot in each of these constituencies to ensure we had a sense of what was happening in other areas. We picked one area in Gurugram, one area in Noida, and we sent our reporters out along with scientists who are specialists in testing water to try and get a full sense of just how safe Delhi's water really is. The Chief Minister says, like in many capitals across the world, many cities across the world, you can drink the water you get in your tap. Can you? Take a look at part 1 of this India Today investigation, Operation Pani.
Every drop counts. A desperate scramble in the hottest seasons. Else, brief windows for piped supplies. But Delhi does not really know how safe and clean its drinking water is.
दिल्ली का कौन आदमी नहीं जानता है कि दिल्ली का पानी पीने लायक नहीं है? कौन आदमी दिल्ली का पानी पी रहा है? जो पी रहा है लाचारी में पी रहा है।
सीधे नल से लाओ ना, मैं पी लूं। तो अब ये वो कहते हैं पानी खराब है, सीधे नल से पानी पिया मैंने।
A high-pitched political battle is being fought in the national capital, Delhi. That on a basic civic issue of water. Is Delhi providing the dirtiest water to its residents, or is it simply vendetta politics? India Today has decided to take this bus across the national capital to find out for you as an independent fact check of what exactly are the results of water in Delhi. So let's begin our journey and find out. India Today, with a team of independent experts out on a mission. The first of its kind by any media house in the country. Crisscrossing the national capital region. For sampling water in Delhi's 7 Lok Sabha constituencies. We knock on unfamiliar doors. कैसे हैं आप? So आपके यहाँ से अब हम थोड़ा सा water लेंगे. The scientists we commissioned will test these water samples on all broad parameters prescribed by the World Health Organization. They explain how they would analyze these samples. A broad spectrum methodology to evaluate Delhi's drinking water for color, odor, toxic, bacteria and other contamination.
It should be clean, transparent water. It should have some taste of minerals.
If it's good, if it's clear drinking water, great news. If it's not, what are the immediate efforts that must be done right away by the government?
You and I should not get the disease like cholera, typhoid, jaundice. Water harvesting in every house. That should be made mandatory.
Delhi government's water utility claims to be supplying 50 gallons per capita every day. A wide network of treatment plants, pumping stations and about 9,000 kilometers of distribution system. But residents have often complained of poor quality of their water. Our test drive has brought the facts out. Kejriwal government insists it has improved the safety standards. Delhi water quality is a major election issue ahead of the February 8th vote. Stay tuned to know how safe is the commodity flowing out of your kitchen taps. Pooja Shali and Isha Gupta for India Today.
Since lab results are very often contentious, I want to take you through the exact methodology that was followed by the India Today group in compiling the results of this survey. Remember, we first signed up with the Shriram Laboratory, which is one of India's foremost laboratories. We picked randomly one location in each of the 7 Lok Sabha constituencies of Delhi. It's not like somebody complained to us or we had someone's particular house we had to go to. Randomly, 7 areas in each of these constituencies were chosen. After this, the laboratory started working on distilling and assessing what was in that sample and to check whether or not it formed the Bureau of Indian Standard norms. Were those norms complied with? So the battle, remember, began in November. Towards the middle of November is when the battle started. Soon after that, we said, okay, we are hearing what Ramvilas Paswan is saying, we're hearing what Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party is saying. Let's try and find out what the truth is. So we identified the laboratory, our reporters, our editors worked with technicians and scientists in the laboratory, and we sent out samples to be tested. It took a fair amount of time. It didn't come overnight. It took a fair amount of time for the results to come in to us. Once the results were in, then we worked on compiling the report together to be able to give you a sense of just how good or bad the water supply in your tap is. Remember, there are so many countries of the world where you don't even think twice before just opening the tap and drinking the water that comes out. Can you do that in the national capital? Which are the areas where you can? Which are the areas where you cannot? Sit back and watch the results of this month-long India Today investigation, Operation Pani.
In the quest for safe water, our first stop is at East Delhi, home to around 2 million people. Residents here have serious issues with the water quality. So how has the water been here, sir?
मडी वाटर है मैम, बिल्कुल ब्राउनिश है. कई बार सोसाइटीज ने फेडरेशन के थ्रू इनको अप्रोच करा दिल्ली जल बोर्ड को, लेकिन किसी तरह की कोई सुनवाई नहीं है.
Equipped with modern testing kits, these independent scientists take the samples for laboratory analysis. The tap is sterilized per international norms and samples are sealed off in beaker. Now off to South Delhi for a similar exercise. We walk into this middle-income home at Kalkaji.
सर वैसे कैसा पानी कालकाजी में आता है? पानी की जो यहाँ पे क्वांटिटी है वो तो ठीक है, पर यहाँ क्वालिटी ठीक नहीं है, हार्ड वाटर आता है।
हार्ड वाटर आता है,
हार्ड
ठीक
वाटर
है।
आता
और आरओ रखते हैं आप घर में या कोई आपने वो प्यूरिफायर की मशीन
रखा? हम लोग फिर पानी उसके बिस्लरी मंगवाते हैं पीने के लिए।
अच्छा। The scientists take the samples. Our next destination, the posh neighbourhood of Vasant Vihar. Samples are collected with precision. The teams of India Today reporters and scientists move to the remaining areas of Delhi NCR. So what do you want to tell the politicians about water? Because, water is often a debatable issue. Both parties are fighting at each other, BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party.
Yeah, water is very important element for everybody.
Yes.
It should be clean and pure.
Clean and pure.
Yeah, everybody should get very clean and pure water. That there is no health problem for anyone.
India Today's 3-day-long test drive covered all of the national capital, Delhi, as well as Noida and Gurugram. And here now is what our investigation revealed. Water being supplied in Delhi NCR is partly good, but partly bad. 5 out of 9 areas we examined passed the water quality test, but 4 areas failed it. Here now is the breakdown. Water in East, West and Northeast Delhi and Gurugram is unfit for drinking. Yes, be aware if you are residing in these constituencies. Drinking water flowing in the pipelines here is found to be infected with bacteria. Residents of New Delhi, South Delhi, Chandni Chowk, Northwest and Noida constituencies are lucky. Their water supply are rated safe for drinking purposes.
दिल्ली में यमुना साफ करनी है, पानी 24 घंटे करना है, साफ पानी टूटी से आना चाहिए, pollution ठीक करना है.
Our investigation has revealed that water in 3 out of the 7 Lok Sabha constituencies in Delhi isn't fit for drinking, which means that the Kejriwal government may have come halfway, but still has a long way to go to ensure safe supplies for the world's second most populous city. With video journalist Nasir and Pooja Shali in Delhi, this is Isha Gupta for India Today.
First, let's recall the charge that was levelled by the Bharatiya Janata Party and its allies in the central government. The central government had alleged that all the 11 samples that they took for the toxicity levels of water in Delhi had failed, and that each of those 11 samples were not fit for drinking, that the water was undrinkable. Whereas you had the Delhi Jal Board, which is run by Chief Minister Kejriwal, which carried out a sample test on 4,024 samples, and they came out and said that 98% of the water across the city is drinkable. So you had on the one side the BJP saying the water is totally unsafe, you had on the other side the Aam Aadmi Party saying the water is totally safe, which is why an independent scientific test of the kind that we've carried out is as significant as it is, and the results are neither here nor there. It's not as if all the water is unsafe, but it's not as if all the water is safe either. In fact, half the water tested in the national capital is unsafe for drinking. Also remember, you've got Noida, which is run by the BJP, you've got Gurugram, which is run by the BJP, where water condition isn't very different from the water condition in the national capital. So it's not just a political issue with an eye on the Delhi election. There's a larger problem with the supply of water and the quality of water in the NCR region. Joining us on this broadcast to talk about this month-long India Today probe, I want to welcome first, representing the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, Aman Sinha. Wimlendu Jha is an environmentalist. Those two ladies you see in the white gowns are Sneha and Swati. Sneha heads up the chemistry laboratory at the Faujian Sciences, and Swati is the head of the microbiology lab at the Faujian Sciences. Also with us is Kamal Mitra Chinoy. The Aam Aadmi Party has decided that they will not participate in this investigation. I want to go across first and foremost to Aman Sinha for a reaction on how the ruling BJP looks at the results, because the BJP had claimed, the government at the centre had claimed, the Delhi BJP is still claiming that all the water supplied in the national capital is bad, that all the 11 samples were undrinkable. The investigation highlights problems. Yes, there are very serious problems, there are very serious toxic chemicals in the water, but it's not as if all the water supply is bad. About half the water supply, 3 out of the 7 samples in the national capital were actually drinkable, they were actually decent, which, given how you'd ordinarily perceive how bad that water is, isn't such a bad spot to be. Aman Sinha, welcome.
No, thank you very much, Rahul. And let me say that right to have safe drinking water is one of the basic rights that any human should have access to. And therefore, I wish to compliment the report that you have come out with. I would only like to say that BJP's stand is largely vindicated, because we had said that, yes, some of the samples may be drinkable, but they are certainly not up to mark, and about half of the samples, they are not even drinkable. You cannot drink that glass of water, and broadly that is the figure that seems to be coming out from your report, from the investigative journalism operation that you've carried out, and it is very much near to whatever BJP was indicating. But if you see the Aam Aadmi Party survey, they said that 98% of water was all drinkable and absolutely in excellent state. So their survey in fact falls flat, and our stand, as I mentioned to you, Rahul, is vindicated that Delhi, at least half of the households, they do not have access to normal safe drinking water. And what is also quite noteworthy, Rahul, in your report is that all the posh localities, they seem to be having better water quality, but majority of people who are living in different areas of Delhi, which are rural, semi-urban, whatever you say, or urban villages, there the water quality and water samples, unfortunately, it seems have invariably failed the test.
Because this
whether
is important
you see,
to know,
certain
we
areas
haven't
of
gone
East
to
Delhi
any
were
unauthorized colony. So any of the Jhuggi Jhopdi clusters, the unauthorized colonies, we haven't even been to. We've been to proper Pakka colonies where the Aam Aadmi Party government says that 98% of the water is drinkable. Vimlendu Jha, our investigation shows that that is not the case in constituencies like Northeast Delhi,
Rahul,
in constituencies
therefore it is
like
even worse.
East Delhi,
If this is
also
the state of
in
affairs, Rahul,
West Delhi, the water is not drinkable, and you've got a huge problem. One second, Aman Sinha, you set up the debate. Let me go across to the other guests. I'll come back to you in a moment. You've got a huge amount of politics on both sides. It's not as if the BJP is playing politics and the AAP is kosher. It's as much the other way, and the reality somewhere is getting distorted in these charges and counter charges. Vimlendu Jha.
Absolutely, Rahul. So I think it's very, very important to note that there is politics of over water that is happening. It's important to notice that people during elections are actually discussing actual civic issues about air and about water. But at the same time, it's very, very unfortunate that there is politicking and blame game rather than actually a political intent to solve the crisis. What your study clearly says that 50% of Delhi is actually drinking, almost 15 million people are actually drinking polluted water. And this is only, by the way, piped water. When we talk about Yamuna, you just look at the state of the river, the plight of the river, which is completely toxic. It's black water flowing, and if you expect that people, if they drink that water, which is completely black and has froth, and that water is safe, whichever politician from any political party that tells you that water is safe, that's a criminal act. That's actually almost pushing the citizenry to die. So I think it's very unfortunate that something as fundamental, as basic in India's capital, which is water, is denied, is polluted, and for years together we have actually seen this situation. So I think both Aam Aadmi Party or the central government, also very important to know that Namami Gange, cleaning of Yamuna, or in a way water management, is also the responsibility of the central government. Of course, is fundamentally the responsibility of Delhi Jal Board and Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal as well, and both of them have collectively failed. It's an issue of public health as fundamental fundamental as issue of water. Imagine 3,500 million liters of wastewater actually goes into Yamuna every day, and only 50% of that water gets treated. And by the way, we are not even talking about groundwater, which is completely contaminated. And as per Niti Ayog's report, Delhi has run out of water already in the beginning of 2020. So we are in a sad state of affair right now. As much as we are talking about a shining and a fancy Delhi, there is no water to drink. And there's no safe water to drink.
You know what I find particularly startling is the fact that Arvind Kejriwal at a town hall, and I know that this is election season, would claim that you can pick up the water anywhere in the capital and you can drink it. 98% of the water in the taps is drinkable. Now, anybody who stays here or stays in any Indian city knows that's not true. You can't just start drinking water from the tap in India, especially in Delhi. You boil it, you filter it, you RO it if you can, and only then do you drink it. So why make a claim which is so easily proven to be completely untrue? Our investigation shows about half the water samples in the capital were contaminated. I want to go across to Sneha R and Swati B at the Department of Chemistry and Microbiology at the Forgene Sciences Laboratory. Everyone we spoke to and everyone in the newsroom who looked at this investigation had just one question. Okay, so you're telling me that this is the result of these 9 areas in the NCR where you've done your test. I want to know how good or bad is the water that's coming out of my tap. Can I drink it? Can I not drink it? Can I believe Arvind Kejriwal when he says this water is drinkable? Or is it unsafe? Or should I believe Paswan who says the water is completely unsafe, or Kejriwal who says the water is completely safe? How can somebody who's watching test to know for themselves, beyond these 7 locations we went to in Delhi and the 2 in the NCR region, how clean their water is?
Yes, definitely the water from the tap is not fit for consumption. As we see, we do the lab testing here inside the microbiology lab. We can show a live example how we do the testing here, so a layman can understand how it goes. So this is the microbiology area where we do the testing. We do the bacterial contamination here. So this is how the actual testing is done. We have the sample ready here and an analyst is already performing the test. As you can see, she is taking the sample and putting it in the microbiological media. So what we do is generally we test for the bacteria which is there in the water, like fecal coliforms and E. coli. Fecal coliforms are the main organisms which causes the diseases. So that's the reason we mainly check for these organisms inside the water. So as the testing is done here, this shows us the result that the bacteria is present or not within 48 hours. That is the initial step which takes place here. After which we can see this is the incubator in which the particular media goes inside and the bacteria growth happens within 48 hours. So this is how we do the analysis. With this you can see whether the bacteria is actually present or not. So in that way a layman can actually give their water for testing for the microbiological and chemical requirements. For microbiology, this is how we do, and chemistry, Sneha will take over.
So this is the chemistry department. This is the wet lab. Here basically we do testing for all the water samples we receive for and these are the basic parameters, like she is doing the hardness, estimation of the hardness in the water samples, drinking water, which says about how hard the water is, how hard the hardness levels. And in this lab we do test about other like alkalinity, fluoride, chloride, nitrate and all the elements and all. So basically what happens here is, in a chemical laboratory we follow the standard methods where there has given like limits for the drinking water. So if it crosses the limits, then it is not safer for the consumption, and these limits can be exceeded due to like you can say the effluents, industrial or domestic, all those things. So after from here, we will be taking up for the instrumentation, where we go for the testing of nitrates like fluoride and sulfate analysis. So this is where the normal analysis is happening. So here is one of the chemists, she is showcasing you the analysis of fluoride. Fluoride is also one of the important parameters to be analyzed in a drinking water.